Now imagine Niagara Falls frozen in stone and moved to a gigantic cavern far beneath the surface of the earth. This is indeed called frozen Niagara, and it is just one of the fantastic formations lining the tunnels, halls, and twisting corridors of the most extensive cave system in the world. This is Mammoth Cave, the eerie yet majestic subterranean gallery of sculpture created by nature under the forests of Kentucky. At least 3 rivers course through Mammoth Cave. They are often calm and navigable, but at times they may resemble roaring torrents, rising or falling as much as 6 feet in a single hour. These rivers feed lakes so crystal clear that they are all but invisible until the surface is broken. It is with water that nature has excavated, constructed, and adorned this underworld cathedral. About 350 million years in the making, and still being built. On the surface, the Green River cuts across the Kentucky Plateau country, a plain from which most rainwater doesn't run off in creeks and streams, but instead seeps down through the earth. The water picks up carbon dioxide from decaying vegetation on the surface and forms a solution of carbonic acid. This solution drains through cracks in the limestone beneath. It usually moves horizontally toward Green River, dissolving rock along the way and carving out chambers and passageways. As Green River digs a deeper and deeper bed, the water table falls, and the process repeats itself on a lower level, leaving the higher cave network dry. When a cavern near the surface collapses, it leaves a bowl-shaped hole. There are so many of them here that some geologists refer to this region as Southern Sinkhole Plain, and local people know it as the land of 10,000 sinks. In some systems outside Mammoth Cave National Park, these holes provide access to water-carved caves. Mammoth Cave isn't the only cave system in the park, but it's the most famous, and combined with the Flint Ridge Caves, it is the longest system anywhere. In fact, nobody knows exactly how large Mammoth is. To date, more than 300 miles of its tunnels and chambers have been charted. Scientific evidence suggests that there may be miles of this astounding natural masterwork still in darkness, unexplored and unseen. Human exploration of the great caverns goes back at least 3,000 years, perhaps longer. Many prehistoric artifacts have been retrieved, and numerous charred torches have been discovered as far as 2.5 miles down the winding passageways. Why prehistoric tribesmen mined here for minerals is still a mystery. Perhaps crystals were used for decoration or for trading. Possibly gypsum was utilized for paint, and mirabolite might have had medicinal applications. Legend has it that the first white man here was a hunter who stumbled upon Mammoth Cave while chasing a bear back in 1799. There are still remnants of the saltpeter mines that thrived here during the War of 1812. The British blockade had cut off America's foreign supply of that critical ingredient needed for gunpowder. But it had been found here in the soil lining the floor of Mammoth Cave. And during that war between England and the United States, the ore was mined by slaves and loaded into wooden vats. Water flowing through these pipes, really hollowed out tulip poplar logs, leached out the vital nitrates. The bulk of the ore was sent by ox cart and boat to DuPont, Delaware, for processing into gunpowder. Elsewhere in Mammoth Cave, the visitor comes across this unexpected sight, stone cottages. They date from a medical experiment gone wrong. In 1842, Dr. John Cron tried to cure tuberculosis patients by having them live here, where the air seemed pure and the temperature and humidity were stable. After a few months, 2 men died, and the rest left their dark habitat after showing no improvement in their health. But by then, Mammoth Cave had already become a famous tourist destination. At first by stagecoach, later by train, people came from many parts of the nation, and even from Europe and South America, to see the exotic natural phenomena they had heard existed in the far underground reaches of Kentucky. Millionaires, royalty, celebrities, high society, and the simply curious, they climbed down to see Mammoth's wonders. In 1876, this particular spot inspired the great tragic actor of his day, Edwin Booth, to recite from Hamlet. Or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble. After that performance, this place became known, of course, as Booth's Amphitheater. It was continuing a tradition started 25 years earlier when the most popular singer of her day, Jenny Lind, the Swedish nightingale, performed while sitting on a nearby formation, since christened Jenny Lind's Armchair. Many of the cave's features were named during the period when public visits first became popular. Passages, rooms, and formations honored not only people, but gods, biblical and mythological places, impressive buildings, streets, and everyday objects. And sometimes it was just a matter of whimsy or humor. Thus, walking through the cave, visitors find themselves at the ruins of Karnak. On Cleveland Avenue, inside the drapery room, beneath Rainbow Dome, or beside the River Styx. But perhaps the most fitting name of all is the most direct, the one for the complex of caverns and for this entire national park as well, Mammoth Cave. It is a unique experience, walking this pathway deep beneath the Earth's surface. John Proctor, former state geologist of Kentucky, wrote almost a century ago,
"We are told that this is the end of the cave, but it's only one of the many ends. And some of the avenues have been closed by fallen rocks or by the stalactite growth. And the real end is yet unknown. A wonderful, mysterious underworld where the spirit of eternal, changeless silence reigns supreme."